Have you ever seen how pride can lift a person so high, only to throw them down in the most painful way? Nadia was beautiful, arrogant, and boastful because she was dating a billionaire. She insulted her friends, mocked her workers, and humiliated strangers. But one single day, she pushed the wrong woman out of her jewelry store, calling her a witch. Not knowing that the same woman would be waiting for her at the dinner table that night, and the unexpected happened. Nadia was the kind of woman people noticed the moment she walked into a room. She was tall, fair-skinned, always dressed in luxury clothes, with gold dangling from her neck and wrists. She carried herself like a queen. Everywhere she went, heads turned. But behind that beauty was a heart full of pride, arrogance, and a sharp tongue that spared no one. Nadia was dating Kelvin, a young billionaire whose name commanded respect in Lagos. He was tall, handsome, and wealthy beyond imagination. He spoiled Nadia with everything she desired. He bought her a brand new car, opened a jewelry collection store in her name, paid for vacations abroad, and funded her expensive lifestyle. From the moment her jewelry store opened, Nadia's pride grew wings. She believed she had finally risen above everyone else, and she made sure people felt it. One day, Nadia arrived at her store in a clean white Mercedes-Benz Kelvin had gifted her. Baba Toyin, the gate man, quickly ran to open the gate. "Good afternoon, madam," he greeted, wiping sweat from his brow. But Nadia rolled down her window, hissed and barked, "Why are you always so slow, old man? Looks like you don't value this job again. Next time you make me wait after honking, I'll replace you with someone younger. Foolish people everywhere." The poor man bowed his head in silence and whispered, "Sorry, Ma." He had children at home depending on him, so he endured the humiliation. She drove in speedily and angrily, as if she was on a racing track. Inside the shop, Nadia walked past her staff, acting as if they didn't even exist, like humans to her. She carried her proud self boastfully, like the madam she is, feeling on top of the world. She didn't answer their greetings when they greeted or welcomed her. Instead, she raised her voice. "Jerry, why is this glass display not shining? Ife, didn't I tell you to arrange those bracelets by color? Must I always shout before you people use your brains?" The staff scrambled nervously, afraid of losing their jobs. Nadia had a reputation for firing and rehiring workers carelessly. Just last week, she had dismissed a salesgirl simply because she forgot to bow properly when greeting her. Her arrogance was not reserved only for her workers. Even her childhood friends felt it. One day, Sonia, her closest friend since secondary school, came by to see her. They had once shared food during their struggling days, even sleeping on the same bed during NYSC when they couldn't afford separate rents. "Sonia, my dear friend," Nadia said mockingly, "what brings you to this kind of store? Looks like you don't even know how much one necklace costs here, right?" Sonia was confused. Looking at her, Nadia continued, "Please, don't embarrass yourself. You can't afford anything here, even if you sell your whole family properties combined." Sonia's eyes widened in disbelief. "Nadia, it's me. Your friend. Why are you talking like this? Even if I don't have the money to pay in full, does that guarantee the insults from my own best friend?" Nadia laughed and tossed her wig dramatically. "Please, shift. You can't understand this life. People like you belong in Balogan Market, not here. Kelvin has lifted me far above. Life has levels, babe. Or are you blind to not see the difference between us now? Look at me," she turned dramatically. "I'm dripping in diamonds. Look at you, still struggling. We are not the same anymore, so I can talk to you anyhow I like." Sonia's lips trembled, but she managed to whisper, "Nadia, is this truly you? The same friend who once shared food with me in the hostel, when you had nothing? Mocking me now?" But Nadia turned her face away as if the memory disgusted her. "That was then. This is now. Don't remind me of those days. I have moved far beyond them." Sonia felt pained at those words and insults. "Nadia, you mean you'd insult me even down to my family? This isn't you. Money has really changed you." But Nadia only smiled. "And thank God it did. I refuse to remain where you people are." Sonia walked away in silence, heartbroken. But Nadia didn't care. She believed her new life made her untouchable. Even her customers were not safe from her sharp tongue. One afternoon, a young woman entered to admire a necklace. When she asked for the price and bidded casually, Nadia jumped in. "If you don't have money, leave my shop. This place is not for broke people. My store is for high-class ladies, not for people like you." The woman left insulted, feeling bad, while Nadia adjusted her gold bracelet with pride. Kelvin, on the other hand, was a man of humility. Despite his wealth, he treated people with kindness and respect. Many times, he cautioned Nadia. "Nadia, my love, calm down. Life is not about looking down on people. Be humble and learn to treat others with respect." But Nadia rolled her eyes. "Kelvin, you don't understand. If you act humble, people will ride on you. Me, never. People must know their place when they come near me." Kelvin sighed. He loved Nadia, but deep down he feared her pride would one day destroy everything. One faithful evening, Kelvin sat her down and spoke gently. "Nadia, I have something important to tell you. Next weekend, I want to officially take you to meet my mother. I want to introduce you as the woman I want to marry." Nadia's eyes widened with excitement. She jumped up, clapping her hands. "Finally! So the whole Lagos will know I am your woman. This is the crowning of my life. After this, nobody will ever dare look down on me again." She paced the room, already imagining herself walking into a mansion filled with maids bowing to her. "Kelvin, your mother will love me. She will know that her son has chosen the best." Kelvin smiled weakly. But just remember, respect is everything. My mother is a gentlewoman. Please, humble yourself before her." Nadia waved her hand dismissively. "Leave that matter. I know how to behave. Don't worry." But inside her heart, Nadia had no intention of changing. To her, this introduction was simply another stage to display her pride and prove her superiority. The week passed quickly. Nadia could hardly wait for the big day. She told anyone who cared to listen that her billionaire boyfriend was finally going to introduce her to his mother. At the shop, she bragged openly. "Very soon, I will no longer just be Madame Nadia, the jewelry owner. I will be Madame Kelvin, wife of a billionaire. Do you people know what that means, huh?" Her staff forced smiles, but in their hearts, they pitied her arrogance. Ife, the salesgirl, whispered to Jerry later, "This madam will put herself in trouble one day. She talks as if the world belongs to her." Jerry only moved his shoulders. "Very proud and pompous, my dear. Let her continue. God is watching, and he sees the heart of all men." On the morning of the big introduction, Nadia woke up before sunrise. She literally soaked herself in perfume, spent hours at the salon, and wore a fitted gown that sparkled with crystals. Her long, artificial nails were painted gold, and she crowned it all with one of the finest wigs money could buy. But she still wanted something more. She wanted the perfect necklace for the occasion, something that would scream wealth and class the moment she walked into Kelvin's mother's house. So she headed straight to her jewelry shop. The moment she entered, her sharp voice filled the room. "Why is this place looking dull? Jerry, clean those glasses properly. F.A., bring out all the diamond sets now. I don't have time for nonsense today." Her staff scattered like frightened birds, rushing to obey. While Nadia was moving around, the bell above the shop door rang. An elderly woman stepped in, wearing a neat iro and buba and tying a simple head tie. She looked elegant, her face old and wrinkled, but she was smiling kindly. "Good morning," the woman greeted warmly. Ife approached her politely. "Good morning, Ma. How can I help you?" The woman smiled. "My dear, I'm looking for something special. I want to buy a gift for an important dinner tonight." "Of course, Ma," Ife said, leading her to the glass displays. "We have many lovely pieces you will like." The woman's eyes lit up as she admired a necklace. She touched it gently and whispered, "This would be perfect." But before she could even finish, Nadia's heels clicked loudly across the floor as she came over. "What is going on here?" she barked. "Who allowed this woman to touch that necklace?" Ife froze. "Madame, she just wanted to—" The poor girl wanted to explain. "Shut up!" Nadia shouted, looking angrily at the elderly woman. "Madame, do you even know how much this costs? Can you afford it? Please don't come here and waste my time." The shop went silent. Even Baba Toyin at the gate turned his head inside, curious at the commotion. The old woman smiled faintly, trying to remain polite. "My daughter, I was only admiring it." "How much is it?" she asked. Nadia folded her arms, eyeing her from head to toe. Then she let out a loud, mocking laugh. "Ah, look at this wrinkled skin. You look like one village witch. Why would you walk in here and touch my collections with those evil-looking hands? Hmm? And even if I dash you, who will even take you seriously wearing diamonds? Madam, please leave my shop. I don't want people like you lowering the class of this place." Efe gasped quietly. "Ma, please." But Nadia was not done. She turned to Ife sharply. "Will you shut your dirty, stinking mouth before I shut it for you? You this poor thing?" Her voice rose even higher, then she turned to face the elderly woman again. "In fact, let me say it clearly. No one would ever be comfortable around an old witch like you. You look disgusting. I wonder where you even come from." For me, she paused and stepped closer, pointing at the old woman cruelly. "If you were my mother, or by any chance I had you even as a mother-in-law, I'll disown you or finish you with my own hands. A woman like you looks old and disgusting. Please, get out before you spoil my mood today." The elderly woman's eyes dimmed with hurt by those words. What had she done, she thought? She had only walked in here to buy an item like any normal customer would. But she was given the worst insults of her entire life. She did not answer back. She only adjusted her wrapper slowly and turned toward the door. Nadia, in her arrogance, pushed her shoulder. "Move faster, old witch, before I call security to throw you out." The woman staggered slightly, but steadied herself with dignity. She walked out of the shop without another word. Inside, the staff stood frozen, their hearts pounded. They could not believe what they had just witnessed. But Nadia dusted her hands as if she had done something great. "Everybody back to work. I don't want poor-looking people entering my shop again. This is a place for class, not for beggars." She turned back to the mirror and admired herself, smiling proudly at her reflection, unaware what she had just started. That evening, far away in Ikoyi, Kelvin's mother sat quietly in her mansion. She had returned home feeling heartbroken after a bad experience she had earlier that day where she went. As her maids arranged the dining table, set the flowers, and prepared all the meals, she forced herself to smile, not wanting to spoil her son's joy. "Madam, are you okay?" one of the maids asked carefully. She sighed deeply. "I am fine. Today is for my son. I will not let anything spoil it." But in her heart, pain burned like fire. As the evening approached, the sky over Lagos was painted in streaks of orange and purple as the sun set slowly behind the horizon. And inside the vast mansion in Ikoyi, the elderly woman walked slowly around the dining hall, inspecting every detail. The long mahogany table was finally set with sparkling plates, polished silverware, and crystal glasses that glittered under the chandelier. The aroma of freshly cooked jollof rice, goat meat pepper soup, and pounded yam with egusi filled the mansion. Her maids still moved about quietly, adjusting flowers and straightening napkins. She had given instructions earlier that everything must be perfect, because tonight her son was bringing home the woman he planned to marry. On the outside, everything looked beautiful, but on the inside, her heart was still heavy. Yet she had kept silent when Kelvin came to check on her earlier. She forced a smile and said nothing. She didn't want to spoil his joy. She only prayed silently. "God, give me strength tonight. Let me not embarrass my son." Meanwhile, across town, Nadia's house was buzzing with excitement. She sat before her mirror, admiring herself. She had changed into the long, fitted gown that sparkled under the light. Diamonds glittered around her neck and on her wrists. Her wig was styled perfectly, her makeup looked sharp, and her perfume smelled strong enough to announce her presence before she even entered a room. She turned her head from side to side, smiling at her reflection. "This is it. Tonight I will enter that mansion not just as Kelvin's girlfriend, but as his future wife. By tomorrow, everybody will know my level. No one can match me anymore." Just then, her driver knocked gently on the door. "Madam, Ogre Kelvin is here." Nadia stood up proudly, grabbing her designer purse. She walked down the staircase slowly, like a queen descending her throne. Kelvin was waiting at the bottom, dressed in a neat black suit, looking calm and graceful. When he saw her, he smiled faintly. "Nadia, you look glamorous." She twirled lightly, raising her chin. "Of course I do. Tonight is my night, darling. After today, your mother will adore me. She will know that her son has chosen the very best." Kelvin's smile faded a little. He reached for her hand. "Nadia, please, just remember what I told you. My mother is everything to me. Show her respect no matter what. Even if she says something you don't like, just overlook it." Nadia rolled her eyes and patted his hand carelessly again. "Relax, Kelvin. You worry too much. I know how to behave. Trust me, your mother will be proud to have me as a daughter-in-law." Kelvin sighed. He wanted to believe her, but deep inside, he felt uneasy and hoped she kept her word. Soon they were seated in Kelvin's luxury car, driving toward Ikoyi. As they drove, Nadia kept rehearsing her smiles, practicing how she would greet Kelvin's mother. She imagined walking into the mansion, seeing maids bow to her, and watching his mother's eyes widen at her beauty. "Kelvin," she said suddenly, "what do you think your mother will give us tonight? Maybe she has already prepared a special gift for me." Kelvin laughed lightly. "My mother is not the gift type, Nadia. She is after values, respect, and kindness." Nadia waved her hand. Leave all that talk. I know she will love me. Who wouldn't?" Kelvin only stared out the window and didn't want to press further. Back at the mansion, Kelvin's mother dressed quietly in her room. She wore a gold lace wrapper and blouse with simple jewelry, elegant but modest. She looked at herself in the mirror and smiled faintly. Just then, her phone buzzed. It was Kelvin. "Hey, Mom, we are on our way," he said cheerfully. Her heart skipped. She forced her voice to sound bright. "All right, son. We are ready for you." As she ended the call, she inhaled deeply, bracing herself. When the car finally pulled into the grand compound, Nadia stepped out smiling warmly, her gown flowing on the ground, her diamonds glistered under the lights. She looked around the mansion and smiled proudly. "So this is it, perfect," she thought to herself. "I'll fit in here easily." Kelvin looked at her and asked calmly and politely like a gentleman, "Are you ready?" Nadia nodded quietly, holding his hand as they walked toward the door. Inside, the maid stood at attention. The dining table glowed under the chandelier, and seated in the living room, waiting calmly, was an elderly woman. Immediately they drew closer. Kelvin was already smiling proudly. He held Nadia's hand gently and spoke with joy. "And here we're with the woman I want to marry, the one I've been telling you about, and the very one after my heart." Nadia was already blushing from the compliments and was now walking proudly toward the elderly woman. Gently, the elderly woman looked up, smiling warmly at them. But the moment Nadia's eyes fell on her and she looked at her closely, her steps slowed, she froze. Her heart skipped, her face turned pale. There, seated with calm dignity, was the same elderly woman she had insulted, humiliated, and pushed out of her store that very morning. The air grew heavy, silence hung like a sword in the room. Even Kelvin noticed the sudden change in Nadia's face. He looked at her curiously, then at the old woman, then back at her. Something was wrong, very wrong. "Nadia? Are you all right?" he asked, curious. The room went cold. Nadia's legs trembled as she continuously stared at the elderly woman. Her breath caught in her throat. The elderly mother lifted her eyes slowly and locked them into Nadia's. She was as well shocked and surprised to see Nadia too. Her heart sank and she gasped quietly. It was her, the same arrogant young woman from the jewelry store in the morning. The silence was deadly silent. The only sound in the room was the ticking of the golden wall clock. Nadia's palms grew sweaty. She forced a fake smile, but the words slipped from her mouth before she could stop them. "What is this old witch doing here?" Kelvin froze. He blinked, unsure he heard correctly. "What did you just say?" he asked. Nadia swallowed hard and looked around annoyed. "I said, what is this old, wrinkled woman doing here, sitting in your mother's living room?" Kelvin's heart stopped. He dropped her hand instantly. His face twisted in shock and anger. "Nadia, are you okay? This is my mother, my own mother." Nadia's mouth fell open, her eyes widened. She gasped, covering her lips with her palm. "What? This is your mother?" "Yes," Kelvin snapped. His voice echoed like thunder. "This is the woman who gave me life, the woman I honor above everyone else, and you dare insult her in my presence?" Nadia staggered backward. Her knees became weak. She shook her head violently, as though trying to wake up from a nightmare. Kelvin's mother stood up slowly. Her wrapper flowed around her feet. Well, funny how life connects people together in mysterious ways," she said calmly. "I still can't believe you found your way into my house after what you did in the morning." Nadia's heart skipped, and she became fast. She didn't utter a word. Kelvin seemed totally confused. "Mom, what's happening? Do you guys know each other?" he asked, curious. The elderly woman spoke, but her eyes never left Nadia's face. "Yes, son. In fact, this is why my spirit was heavy today. Do you know what happened this morning? I went to a jewelry store, hoping to buy a gift for you and your fiancé. I wanted to surprise you, to show love before she even entered this house. But to my greatest shock, the very woman you brought to me tonight is the same one who humiliated me. She called me names, called me an old witch. She mocked my wrinkles and pushed me out like a beggar, and all I wanted was to buy a simple gift. For you too." Her voice broke. She blinked back the tears of the painful and humiliating memory threatening to fall. "But I endured it. I said nothing. I came home and prepared for this dinner, telling myself I would not spoil your joy. But God has revealed the truth by himself tonight." The room went still. Kelvin turned slowly, his eyes blazed with fury as they landed on Nadia. "Is this true?" His voice was low but sharp, like a blade. Nadia's whole body shook. She stammered, "Kelvin, please, I didn't know she was your mother. If I had known, I would never—" "Shut up," Kelvin's voice echoed. He slammed his fist on the table, and the plates shook violently. "You insulted an elderly woman just because you thought she was a stranger. You mocked her, you pushed her, you called her names, and now you stand here in the same woman's house and still call her a witch. Nadia, what kind of heart do you have?" Nadia fell to her knees. Tears streamed down her face as she broke, begging, "Kelvin, please, forgive me. I was angry. I didn't mean—" But Kelvin's face was hard like stone. "You disgust me. I warned you, Nadia. Didn't I? I told you your pride would destroy things one day. And now, look, the very first time you met my mother, you disgraced her. You disgraced me. Do you realize what you have done?" Nadia sobbed louder, clutching her chest. "Please, Kelvin, I'm sorry." But he stepped back from her, breathing heavily now as he shook his head in disbelief. His mother placed a hand on his shoulder and spoke firmly, but sadly. "Son, a woman who cannot respect elders, who cannot treat people with kindness, is not ready for marriage. And she has just proved it to you the same way she did to me." Kelvin closed his eyes tightly. "Betrayal." The weight of his mother's words sank deep into his soul. Nadia looked from mother to son, her heart shattered. This was not how she imagined tonight. She had dressed like a queen, hoping to be celebrated. Instead, she stood exposed, broken, and ashamed. Never in her wildest dreams did she imagine that the same woman she had mocked in the morning would appear in the evening to be the mother of the man she planned to marry. Her arrogance had betrayed her. Her pride had destroyed her. And in that moment, Nadia realized she had lost everything, before it even began. This is what happens when pride blinds the eyes and arrogance takes the place of kindness. One moment of disrespect can destroy years of blessings and close doors you never knew were open for you. So, what do you think will happen next? Will Kelvin forgive Nadia, or has she already lost her chance forever? Will his mother show mercy and accept her, or will she stand firmly against it? And what about the jewelry store, the car, the life of luxury Kelvin gave her? Will he take it all back? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And tell us if you'd like to see part 2 of the story, where all these answers will be revealed. And if you enjoyed this, don't just keep it to yourself. Like, share, and subscribe to Roots of the African Tales for more real-life stories like this one.